Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Ogusfit here. As I'm bringing my bench press back up, I'll be getting a lot of questions about how to bench press properly. So this video, I'm giving you 11 don'ts when it comes to the bench press. These are things that you should avoid doing. And by pretty much doing the opposite, you'll probably build a bigger, better, stronger bench and a bigger, better, stronger chest. So let's get started. The first thing I see a lot of beginners do incorrectly is they bench with a flat back. Now I'm going to take this off so that you guys can see my back and my arch. So what a lot of beginners will do, they'll just sit directly on the bench like this. Their back is touching the bench in every single place. But really, the points of contact with the bench should be your upper back and your glutes right here. That's pretty much it. So this right here is a healthy arch for me. Powerlifters, you'll see them arch even more like this. And sometimes you'll see arches just as minimal as this. It's gonna be totally individual to you. But one thing's for sure, you don't want to bench press with your entire back touching the bench. You want to have just two major points of contact so that you can apply power, a little bit of leg drive to the bar, have a much stronger bench press. It's also keep you safer. Two is that a lot of beginners forget to retract their scapula. What does that mean? Retract the scapula, retract the scapula. So basically pinching your shoulder blades down and back. What does that look like? We're on the bench, you have that healthy arch, but I'll show you real quick. What a lot of people do is when they unrack the bench, they shove those shoulders up like that as they unrack it. So their shoulders are now protracted forward. You want to have your shoulders down and back behind you like this, pretty much as close to your heels as possible. So focus on that. Imagine that you're trying to bring your shoulders or your scapula down towards your heels. So not like this, but down like this. Another key thing is you want to retract your scapula and keep it there as you're unracking. So it's not about unracking and then retracting. It's retract, get it down and back, and then unrack. I see a lot of people benching with their elbows way too high. Okay? So I see a lot of beginners bench press like this, pretty much lowering the bar to their neck or their extreme upper chest. So combine that with no arch, protracted scapula, you have a recipe for disaster. It's no wonder people say, bench press destroyed my shoulders. If you were to look back at how they bench press, they probably bench press a lot like this, all bad. What you're doing when you bring it higher on your chest like this, you're involving more of your shoulders. And up to a certain point, you increase your chest activation compared to triceps. But at a certain point, it starts putting way too much pressure on your shoulders, on your rotator cuffs, grinds up your gears. You don't want that. You want to find a nice place to lower the bar and to raise the bar, somewhere between your sternum, which is right here, and usually around your nipple. So sternum to nipple, good place to lower the bar. You don't want to lower the bar with totally flared elbows like this. All bad, will destroy you. This one's an easy one. A lot of people will be benching like this, and they're thinking they're getting a better workout. Guys, correct your form so that you can go all the way down to your sternum, or down to your nipple area, and all the way up, a full range of motion. Okay? You're going to generate more strength. You're going to generate more muscle in the long term by using a full range of motion. Plus you'll be safer, it'll be easier on your joints, and 5-10 years down the road, hopefully you'll still be bench pressing. A lot of the people that can't bench press anymore were using short ranges of motion, all that. Tip number 5, I see a lot of people bench pressing this way, like that. Okay? That's not where you're supposed to be bench pressing. Okay? You're bench pressing down to your sternum, and then it's being pressed back up to the original starting position, which is above your shoulders. So you find that good balance point at the top of where it's balanced, it's not falling this way or this way. That's where the weight's supposed to be pressed back up, right back to that starting point. Not pressed this way, you'll fall down that way. Not pressed all the way over here, but back up to the starting original position. Mistake number 6, not warming up properly. especially to the guys who are in their first, second year of lifting. Man, it's ridiculous. I see them walk into the gym and they just do this. They immediately start throwing the 45 plates on. And it's ridiculous, especially when they can only lift like a max of 185. So I see people warming up with weights that are like 50, 60, like, excuse me, 60, 70, 80% of their 1 rep max. It's ridiculous. Warm up with weights, like do high rep sets with the bar. I start out with the bar and, you know, I have a decent-ish bench. I mean, working up towards my 315 pause for fives, but I warm up with the bar, you know? Leave your ego out the door. Don't be afraid to use light-ass weights to warm up. Generally, my warm-up looks like a set or two of 10 with the bar. I throw 25s on each side, which is 95 pounds. I'll hit that for 10 reps. Then I do 135. Then I do like 205, then 225. You guys warm up a little bit more with those really light weights. And as you're working your way up in weight, decrease the weights of your acclimation sets so you don't wear yourself out. That's another big thing I see a lot of people do, is that as they're warming up, they're just doing way too heavy for their warm up. And by the time they get to their work sets, they're pretty much tired. It's not that true. So, don't be afraid to warm up with just the bar. Okay, leave your ego at the door. Number 7, maxing out way too often. I see so many people at the end of a bench press workout decide to max out. First off, that's a horrible idea. Why would you max out when you're already tired and destroyed? And second, I see people do it way too frequently. Guys, you're not building strength when you're testing your strength. You're building strength when you're doing clean, solid reps and sets, workouts, and months of workouts. Then test after months of working out. Don't test your 1 rep max every freaking chest workout. Not even every other chest workout, not even every week or month, okay? I wouldn't suggest testing your maxes every month or even every other month. Space it out liberally so that you can actually build strength between your tests. Another crazy one is that you see people test their 1 rep max and they're only doing sets of 8 to 12. It's like, seriously guys, if you want your 1 rep max to go up, then you should be training and incorporating sets that are 6 reps and lower, right? You want to practice how you want to play. So if you're constantly doing sets of 8 to 12, you're going to get better at sets of 8 to 12. That's a good range for hypertrophy, but that's not the best range to be building strength. If you wanted to build 1 rep max strength, you'd be doing more 5s, more 3s, more doubles, every once in a while, singles. But if you're always doing high rep sets, don't expect your 1 rep max to increase as much as if you were to be doing lower rep sets. 9th mistake is benching once a week or once every other week and expecting mad gains. Guys, if you're only bench pressing 1 time a week, imagine that. Imagine playing basketball 1 time a week and expecting to get so much better. Obviously, lifting is much different than basketball, but if you wanted to increase your bench press, consider bench pressing with a higher frequency than 1 time a week. And it doesn't have to be crazy. Don't jump from 1 time a week to 4 times a week. Maybe consider, if you bench 1 time a week, that's once every 7 days. Think about maybe benching once every 5 days or once every 4 days, right? One of those workouts you're doing. Something like that, something to kind of vary so that you're working a hypertrophy rep range and a strength rep range and getting more frequency, guys. Frequency will help you get better at a lift. It's a skill. You need to practice the skill to get better at that skill. Tip number 10. A lot of people will be doing hella chest, and especially with the other mistakes they're making, furthering their postural issues and also overdeveloping their front delts, overdeveloping their chest, triceps, compared to their pulling muscles, their rear delts, their lats, rhomboids, their back muscles. So make sure that you're doing somewhat of an equal amount of pulling exercises as pushing exercises, and also make sure that you're doing external rotation exercises for your shoulders, such as face pulls and stuff like that, because over time you keep on bench pressing, slowly your body you turn into an ape like that. So you want to have exercises where you're opening up, like a face pull, as well as lots of pulling exercises to help balance out your shoulders, as well as your structural integrity, so that you can lift 5, 10, 20 years down in the future. And of course, there's so many more, but I'm trying to limit to 11. I'm sorry, Brittany, for destroying your workout. No. But a lot of people bench press a lot like this, especially as it gets heavier and heavier, right? And it's crazy, like as they get stronger over time, their negatives become faster and more dynamic, right? So like, it's crazy, like a lot of people will confuse themselves thinking they're getting so much stronger, but in reality, all that happened was they're doing less and less of a negative over time. Guys, make sure you're at least controlling the negative, right? It doesn't have to be super slow, but you want it to be controlled. Otherwise, you're really missing out on a lot of the benefits that the eccentric gives you, such as injury prevention, more hypertrophy over time because you're getting some more muscle damage, right? Obviously, tension is the main mechanism for growth, but closely following that, you're going to have muscular damage. And you're going to get a lot more muscular damage by at least controlling the weight, if not, you know, performing something of somewhat of a negative, right? So make sure that you're at least controlling the weight down to the starting position. You're not letting gravity take it down because that also increases your risk for injury. So guys, I want you to think about these mistakes. Ask yourself, am I making any of these mistakes when I bench press? And be honest with yourself, leave your ego at the door and think about, like, guys, I want to be bench pressing 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in the future. Because the more of these mistakes you're making with your bench press, the less amount of years you're going to be able to safely bench press, right? It's so common, you'll find every guy who's 50 to 60 plus years old who lifted back in the day, they all have like shoulder and elbow problems because they were making so many of these mistakes with the bench press. It's simple as that. It's not necessarily a bad exercise. It's a bad exercise if you do it badly, if you do it poorly. So guys, please make sure that you are not making these mistakes. Fix your bench press, lift for life, and have fun while you're doing it, guys. I'm at Ogus. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If it helped you out, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. It'll help me out a lot. And guys, leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see next in terms of a similar video like this. So I appreciate you guys. Follow the social medias in the description box. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Alright guys, now putting it all together, and I actually left out one of the huge mistakes on purpose because I want to see who caught it. So leave a comment below which of the biggest mistakes I let out. But as you can see, retracting the scapula, pulling the shoulder blades down and back, healthy arch, lowering the bar to somewhere between my nipple and my sternum, controlling the weight on the way down, not necessarily going crazy slow, but definitely controlling the weight, full range of motion, clean reps, pushing the weight back up and into the starting position, not forward, not back into the rack. Trying my best to perform each rep as if it's an individual rep. Like each rep is its own rep that I want to perform just as good as the one before it, independent of the one before it. If you can make your last rep look just as good as your first rep, you're in good hands. That's a good way to build some strength, baby.